Hello, this is Beauty for Ashes with Tracy, and this is your host, Tracy Howcrombie. And we are a self care mental health awareness podcast that encourages, empowers, and enlightens listeners on how to create wellness, overcome negative thinking, and develop strategies for a healthier mindset. How are you doing this afternoon? I hope that everyone is doing well. I'm doing good. I just wanted to come on and share some Valentine's Day chatting and some tips for those of you that are still relationships involvement, or if you're in your singleness or just for general life. I just wanted to always spread some good news and some encouragement, but also let you know from our standpoint where the mental health awareness need to come into play during any holiday or just day-to-day living. So despite of being a jubilant celebration of love, it has been said that Valentine's Day does increase your anxiety. It increases some depression in people that are not in relationships. It may have them feeling degrees of sadness, but it is celebrated across the globe to honor romance and love. And that's culturally, religiously, and commercially. So around these times, it's supposed to be a love filled, purposeful, meaningful time for this tradition. So we do know factually everyone does not feel that way about Valentine's Day. And there's been a few things that has been said that if you already have an existing mental health condition, that this can increase your depression, it can increase your stress, your anxiety. You may become more socially withdrawn or overwhelmed with emotion. And then you start to exhibit something that they call the Valentine's Day blues. And it just shows about some things that we need to understand, that companies promote the notion that being in a relationship is the best thing in the world, and that it's the best and only way to prove your affection to your partner is by just buying these exuberant presents or these expensive romantic gestures or in gift giving. So, but for those people who are not in a relationship, this time can be stressful because you'll be reflecting on what you have not achieved or have made some kind of mistakes in your past relationship, and you might tend to associate this with some negative feelings from past memories and or a painful breakup or separation, a divorce even. So advertising these exuberant gifts and cards and things during this time may serve someone that they're reminded of their own loneliness. So we do have to be mindful with how we're handling our mental health during these times. It is believed that it should be a happy time for the people that are in relationships, but this is not always true, even for married or unmarried couples that may be going through things in their relationships, because there are a lot of things that affect relationships. So, not everything is just so cheerful. It could be financial security, it could be just insecurities, period, in your relationship. So there are a lot of things that may trigger issues when it comes to Valentine's Day and once again, any other holiday. So if we need to get over the Valentine's Day blues, we just need to continue to, as I wanted to put this as a part of my topic, for the love of you, love yourself. Even if this Valentine's week coming up can be tough, we're just going to try to navigate through these trying times. You have to have the self love that you need. And even though the holiday is meant to honor love, we just need to make sure that we're having a love for ourselves as well as our partners or our friends or our families. You know, we could do just small things in the self love of it all. If we are in our singleness, buying ourselves presents or going to dinner by ourselves to our favorite restaurants. Even if we are married, you're still entitled to just take care of you. So you can do that either in that case. So you can consider visiting with your friends or catching up with some of your family members during this time if you're feeling lonely or if you're feeling left out because you don't have a romantic relationship at this time. You celebrate with the people who really love and need your company, and you can also always start new traditions. So, even in understanding that, we also have a flip side to some people feeling like the healthy American in Michigan. They're saying that Valentine's Day is good for mental health, and they're saying that it has positive relationships involving things that make you feel better, with our circle of friends. And when we're healthier and we're happier, we tend to live a little longer. And they were saying in the article that research has shown that people who are part of once again, strong social networks, they have a lower risk of serious health problems, including high blood pressure or depression or being overweight, because you have a community of you that are working together that keeps you uplifted. So, Valentine's Day shouldn't be it like any other day that you're trying to get the benefits of having beautiful people around you, be it romantic or not. So, some of the mental health benefits um, at Valentine's Day or every day is just it increases your sense of belonging and purpose, boosts your happiness, definitely reduces your stress, it improves your self confidence and self worth. Being around people and not being isolated during times that you think that w- that you feel lonely, but you really don't want to be alone. It can help you cope with traumas, whether it was the death of a loved one, whether it was a divorce, a serious illness, or job loss. So, all of these can encourage you to be better at loving yourself and taking care of yourself. Valentine's Day cards, remember those cards used to be passed out when we were kids, So it doesn't matter what we're getting now. We just need to know the appreciation and the gratitude behind receiving gifts and getting things passed down to us, showing us that they're from people who genuinely care for us. So in these relationships, um, we just need to keep referring to the connections that we're sharing, and that's amongst two or more individuals or in groups. The connection determines and is influenced by our emotions and the behaviors of the people that we're involved with. So it doesn't have to be romanticized. These relationships are developed by blood, by marriage, kinship. It can be romantic involvement or just association. So, we need to just make sure we're having the more healthier relationships that penetrate love every day, not just the Valentine's Day when you think it's all about love as it's being commercialized. So, we need to know the factors and how we're responsive to people that we're in relationships with. And when we are understanding as individuals and we recognize and acknowledge and value the support that we're receiving, whether it's from our mate or from our family or friends, because not all the time during Valentine's Day would you, if you're not in a relationship, you're not going to be receiving or reciprocating gifts unless you have a secret admirer. That would be interesting. But if you're alone, you just need to know and acknowledge that they're going to be maybe your close relatives or your close friends or just people that care about you doing things for you, which is totally acceptable because everything is about the love. So just make better connections with yourself. Continue to do things for the love of you. And you can include your family and your relatives, you can include your community that loves on you. And that's every day. We know this has been just idolized, and we don't want to make these things to be just one particular moment out of 365 days that we feel slighted about something. We can love and be celebrated every day, not just on Valentine's Day. And we know that relationships do mean different things to different people, but just know that a good, healthy bond and association with people who you respect and that where you love one another, you communicate equally, and you have those rights and responsibilities of reciprocating the uh, the intimacy that way. So again, that doesn't always come from anything romantic. So just continue to foster your healthy bonds, and you align that with more traditional, it could be your traditional descriptions of what you think is healthy. Relationship, that word is just a broad term and it includes so many different aspects because the factor that makes it thrive largely depends on the people who are in it. So when you're in that relationship, whatever type that it is, be it a marriage, even in your singleness, you're in relationships with other people. So, what makes your life meaningful is simply about the connections and associations that you share with other people. And it's always about the quality, not necessarily about the quantity. It's always about the quality, not necessarily about the quantity. And that's the most important element of our happiness. You know, we're surrounded by others that help us define ourselves. So, again, back to the Valentine's aspect of it, we're doing this daily. So, what we don't want to do is get caught up on one day that's supposed to symbolize love when we need to have love in our hearts and move it in our being every day. So, there was a study done in 2010 through the Mind Network. And it says that having a satisfying relationship is the key contributor to retaining and increasing future life satisfaction. So we're gradually becoming dependent on other people sometimes for things in the physical and spiritual aspect to survive. So the quality, once again, of our connections or association defines our quality of life also. So we need that emotional support. We need to feel connected, but I just want you to understand it's not just about Valentine's Day, this one day that you need to feel this way because for the love of you, it needs to be every day. So have your emotional support and feeling connected or loved in any way that you feel like it. You want to elevate your positivity and this increase your self-worth and value. Is a relationship does have its benefits, but there's all types of relationships, just not romantic. Focus on things if you are feeling a rut or being in your singleness and you're maybe feeling a little bit depressed, find ways to divert your mind from the negative thoughts. You don't want to feel alone, things that help you feel less alone. You can also be open to communication, talk to someone about it without any judgment. Engage in your healthy activities. You can also watch your behavior because you want to continue to create the stability for the love of yourself. You want to also, still stick with that emotional support, the love, affection, and guidance, the care that you need at this time. So that makes it all worth enjoying Valentine's Day as you would any other day. So, despite it being this jubilant celebration of love, it's honored and celebrated across the globe, but we also need to be celebrating love every day. And for the love of you, you deserve all the happiness and the joy that any holiday brings. So, we keep stressing and striving to be better. And we want to continue to surround ourselves or um, possibly have more positive thoughts about the ideal things that we want to happen for ourselves. We don't always want to emulate things that's on television or worry about the things that's being advertised or that comes on social media. All of this gives us the anxiety whether we're in a relationship or not, because so many people are in comparison for their lives to someone else's, how happy they look and how much they have and what they're doing. um, we're supposed to celebrate love and togetherness every day. And we don't need to highlight how different things are in our life or how lonely we are and how low we might feel, because this is what can happen in these times. So we don't need to use Valentine's Day as an opportunity to do anything but to share advice and your personal stories about how you feel and how you might be struggling today or on any day. I think that's even more important, because again, in your loneliness, it is not necessarily a mental health problem in itself, but it's something that people struggle with. Loneliness is a feeling for so for some of us, life events leave us feeling lonely, you know. And if we're once again in a bereavement or we're in a serious relationship and we had a breakup, we might feel the loneliness. But it's not always about having people around. You can be in a relationship, believe it or not, and still feel lonely. And that's simply because you don't feel understood and you may not be feel cared for by the people around you. So that's interesting enough to know you can be around people or in relationships and still feel lonely. So we need to make sure we're keeping our esteem heightened. We need to value ourselves. For the love of you, you need to value yourself and, you know, how you speak about yourself and to yourself, those positive affirmation. And in self-esteem, we know this is how we value or perceive ourselves in the first beginning. So it's the opinions that we formulate about ourselves, and it's also our beliefs, which can sometimes feel difficult to try to change. When you spoke something into your spirit for so long, be it Valentine's Day or every day, it's just how you may feel. So if you're saying, hey, I hate being by myself and I wish I had a relationship in your singleness, start saying that I love the time that I have to focus on me. I love that in these moments and times, I'm able to see and feel and try to understand what I want. You can always change your narrative in the way that we speak to ourselves. And in low self esteem, we know you might not like yourself, or you may feel worthless and that no one else likes you. So, in these days and times, and especially on a day like Valentine's Day, you're going to see the idolized relationships, and again, in any form, be it on social media, on TV, or through your friends, and that is going to be difficult. And it might make you feel like, you or your relationships that you have or have formulated aren't good enough. But it's not true. For the love of you, continue to speak and encourage yourself. Speak over yourself. Speak the good things into yourself. So we don't want to dwell on all the things that are negative. We just want to be able to understand how we can improve our relationships. And even if you're in a relationship, you might have difficulty, having feelings that are positive on Valentine's Day. This is just not being single. Even people that are in relationships, sometimes you might have difficult feelings on Valentine's Day. So it can cause arguments when you do. It can cause stress when you do in relationships, when you're going through difficult times. Trust me, not everyone that is married is happily married or happily involved or happily engaged. People are human, and we're all going through challenges, and we just sometimes want to make sure we're being understood and trying to make sure our voices are being heard. And we want someone to love us the way we want to be loved. But going through difficult times in relationships does bring about the stress. And you sometimes have a tendency to take your difficult feelings out on the person that's closer to you every day, any day. So just know that we need to love every day, not just seeking it on February 14th. So we don't want this to cause us to feel upset or hurt because we're not able to cope in our relationships, because these times that we're experiencing stuff when we're with others or in relationships, it can be tedious. It's constantly a struggle, even in your singleness or in your marriages or in your partnerships. So just know it's not uncommon. I guess that's a good thing to say too. It's not an uncommon thing to feel like you're under stress or duress any time of the year. But we want, for the love of you, to make your Valentine's Day a part of loving yourself, not getting so caught up on all the idealization of what you think it should be or can be, because it can be positive in your in your relationships or in your singleness or in just regular life. It can be positive. And it can also be painful. We know it can be a little bit of both, but you just want to make sure you're focusing on, for the love of you, your own mental health. And it's always a good idea to share your thoughts, share your feelings, because it's a good way to get through it. It's a good way to cope. It's a good way to make sure that your focus is on realistic depictions of what any day should be, not just Valentine's Day. Because people are doing a lot of things that you're going to watch and you're going to see. You're going to have probably some outrageous marriage proposals, some over the top dinner dates. All this stuff can cause pressure and make you feel like you're not pairing up and that you're, everything but perfect, where this stuff seems to be overwhelming, or just the idea of what you think someone should be doing for you that doesn't happen. You know, it can cause us to feel inadequate. Self love is vital to your mental health. Just know that we need to pay more attention for the love of you, pay more attention to your own physical and emotional health, to adapt, to change for a better, stronger you in any relationship you may be in, be it the relationship with yourself, be it the relationship with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, with your community, with your children. You want to be able to recover. This will help you recover from any setbacks. Continue to positively talk to yourself. You know, the way we speak to ourselves, as I said again, it informs how we feel. Positive affirmations, treating yourself, be present. Let's not continuously dwell in the past on things that worked or didn't work out, because we have to remain open to new experiences. And we're in this world of technology where dating is a little different if you are in your singleness and you're now out here trying to virtually date, or in some cases people have found their soulmate and their spouses through dating sites and apps. So stay open to new experiences. And even if you have a partner and your partner decides to plan a surprise for you, you still want to stay open to a new experience, rather fantasizing about one ideal scenario on how you thought something should be. So we want to make the most of every day. And if Valentine's is your big day, that's fine. Make the most best of that day as well. But we want to continue to practice mindfulness and stay present, focus on the here and now. This keeps us grounded. This keeps us able to be in the moment where we can see and touch, hear, smell, feel, and we can even taste the beauty of things. The on your palate when you got this good chocolate you're eating, and you're eating all this good food if you've gone out to dinner. You just want to stay connected, enjoy the quality time with your partner or with yourself. It's all about quality. It's about for the love of you, not the quantity, but the quality that you give yourself, and that also you reciprocate back to others. So you can focus on what you could do with others. It doesn't have to be romanticized. We have friends, we have family, you know. It's easy for the loneliness to get the best of us when it might come to Valentine's Day and you are alone, especially if you can't celebrate together with someone in person. Even you have even marriages, one mate may work in another state and they commute to work. I've been there with the commute back and forth. So there were moments that you couldn't celebrate together, and you want to be close to your loved ones. So you can focus on things like you could do together. Like I said, technology has all these good things going on, FaceTime and Duo, or either any chats that you could do, Messenger, WhatsApp. You got all these things that you can do, but we want to continue to practice gratitude. And holidays like Valentine's Day are great reminders for us to spend that quality time with the people who mean the most to us. And know that love comes in many forms: partners, family, friends, Just consider celebrating any or all of them with the people you love this year. So it doesn't matter what you decide to do. Just know that gratitude is going to be one of your best attributes. And we just want you to stay stress free. And remember, Valentine's Day is one day, it's coming up next week. It's so much happening in the world. We just need for the love of you and I to just be happy and content with the state that we're in our mental state, in our emotional state, and in our physical state. So we don't want one day to cause us to lose out on all the wonderful experiences that we've had all through our other days. Just be grateful. So I hope that this helped you to understand that it's really not about all the grand and elaborate things that uh, people do during this time of year. It's really about, for the love of you, loving you, the self love, the reciprocation of love, be it from your family, friends, or all the people that you share yourself with. It's not about some jubilant celebration. It's just a day that was designed to honor romance and love. So just know you're all love. God loves you. And even in this podcast, me wanting to share in my purpose, I love you too, because he's given me something to just share with you. So I want you all to have a spectacular Saturday. And I know that Valentine's is not until next week, but it will come before I have another episode. So that's why I wanted to chat with you about this. I want you to enjoy your day. Please subscribe on all channels. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on Google Podcasts. I'm on RSS Feed. I'm on Audible. I'm on Amazon Music. So when you do subscribe, this just helps us to continue to grow and these messages get out. You can share it. You can like everything. You can also comment. This conversation, I don't want to just have by myself. I like for you to engage. So if you're out there and you like something about what I said, even if you're not on live, you're able to um, chat with me and or put a question out there and I can do an answer, or put a comment and I can answer. But just know all of these episodes are on CTR Media Network as well. They're archived. So if you don't catch it at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, is always available for your listening pleasure on all the platforms. Enjoy your day and have an amazing weekend.